Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Mullins. I'm the president and CEO of Mountain Health Network. I'd like to welcome you today for this very special day. It's a celebration. In our view, it's a significant milestone in relationships and how healthcare will be delivered in the state of West Virginia for children, not only in our region, but hopefully across the state. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce Chaplain Thomas Hasty. He's the manager of pastoral care here at Cabell Huntington Hospital, who will offer a word of prayer.
How good it is to be able to be with God's people and to bless what's going to happen today. This is a great thing, and it's also good to be in the shade. Sorry about you guys out there. But we've been waiting for this warm weather. Let's pray. Almighty and ever-living God, you call us to be in community. You lifted us up. You created us to work with each other and to be each other's helpmates, help people. Father, you have brought us together from all over the state so that we combined can partner and generate some good things for the children in our area and our state. Father, thank you for the gift of this day, this time. Thank you for this effort that you are blessing. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Thank you so much, Chaplain Hasty. Well, as we begin today, I first would like to, there's many people I would like to welcome, but I first want to start with our friends and colleagues from WVU Medicine. Thank you for making the journey today, and thank you for making today possible. We're very grateful for your leadership, and we'll cover some additional comments for you, Albert, but we're grateful you're here. Today we're going to announce a new collaboration amongst Hoops Family Children's Hospital and WVU Medicine Children's and the Children's Miracle Network. That will make a true difference in the lives of children and families in our 37 counties and 3 states that we get the privilege of serving here at Cabell and at Hoops. As part of this collaboration, Hoops will participate in the Children's Miracle Network under the umbrella of WVU Medicine Children's. By Hoops joining with WVU and working together, each local community can support their local children's hospital through one of the Children's Miracle Network campaigns. Again, this is our effort to work together to create what we hope to be a statewide network for West Virginia children so that we can make sure that we take care of their health care needs here at home in our state. There are many people who have helped make today possible, starting with the development of the Hoops Family Children's Hospital. Some of them are here with us today, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize them. First, I'd like to recognize our namesakes, Jeff and Tricia Hoops. Thank you for being here. Doctors Joe and Omaya Tuma, thank you for being here. Earl and Nancy Heiner, thank you for all your support of us. And I'd like our foundation board chair, Mr. Jeff Biederman. Thank you. I'd also like to take a moment and recognize some of the members of our Children's Hospital Committee. First, I'd like to acknowledge Judge Dan O'Hanlon, who's our chair. Dr. Sarah Denman, committee member. Sandra Clemens, board member. Thank you. Cassie Landers, she also serves as our finance chair for Cabell Huntington Hospital. Dr. Krista Denning, in the back. And last and certainly not least, Ms. Beth Hammers, the chair of the Mountain Health Board and the Cabell Huntington Hospital Board. Thank you all for your leadership and for your commitment to serving our hospital and our community. Next, I'd like to recognize several of our elected officials and Congress members. First, I have Senator Mark Maynard. You hear Mark? Said he was going to. Cabell County Commissioner Kelly Sabonia. We have Delegate John Mant. Thank you. We have Delegate Sean Hornbuckle. And we also have representation from Senator Capito's office, Alex Vaughn. Thank you for coming. Michael Browning is with us from Senator Manchin's office. And Terry Booth is from Congresswoman Carol Miller's office. Well, today we get the distinction from hearing from 6 healthcare leaders throughout our state to make comments about this relationship and the impact that this can have on our healthcare region. I will briefly introduce who's going to be speaking, and then we will have them come up one after another. We're going to start today with Dr. Joseph Wertheimer, who's a neonatologist with Marshall Health and has served 3 full terms on the Cabell Huntington Hospital Board and is very familiar and has devoted a career to treating children. Next up, we'll hear from Dr. Charles Mullett, the Chair of Pediatrics at WVU Medicine Children's. We're grateful you're here today, and we look forward to hearing your words. Next, we have Dr. Susan Flesher, who's the Chair of Pediatrics with Marshall Health. She'll give her perspective. And then we have Amy Bush, the Chief Operating Officer for WVU Medicine's Children's, followed by Dr. Ed Pino, who's the Medical Director for Hoops Family Children's Hospital, works with Marshall Health Pediatrics, and also has served many terms on the Cabell Huntington Hospital Board. And last but not least, we're going to hear from Mr. Albert Wright, the President and CEO of WVU Health System. So to begin, I'd like to introduce Dr. Wertheimer.
Thanks, Mike. I'm honored to be able to participate today in this announcement. I've taken a lot of heat from people about wearing a WVU tie, although I do have Marshall green pants on and my logoed belt. And I see Albert is wearing a green tie, so I feel a lot more comfortable that we're all working together, and I think that's what we ought to be looking at today. I think being the oldest guy in the department, I was asked to give some sort of historical perspective of how WVU and Marshall and Hoops have collaborated in the past. I know some of you have heard this story, but we probably never would have had a pediatric residency program if it hadn't have been for the help of WVU. At the time, we had only 3 full-time faculty, but when we invited the Residency Review Committee from the national organization to come review our department for accreditation, they found 15 faculty here in our department. And it was because Dr. Bill Neal had sent 12 faculty members from Morgantown and Charleston to sort of fill in our gaps. And it might not have been totally honest, but we got our full accreditation, and now we have a fully operational pediatric residency program. At that time, we had the 3 full-time faculty, and under the leadership of Joe Evans and more recently Susan Flesher, we've grown to almost 60 full-time faculty members, specialties and subspecialties in pediatrics. But as you know, it takes more than just pediatricians to make a real children's hospital. And it was almost 10 years ago that we were in this very spot when Mr. Hoops announced his family's very generous contribution in establishing the Hoops Family Children's Hospital. I was there that day. It was a lot hotter, but it's a day I'll never forget, and I'll never forget his talk, an announcement that when he said that we're here today to give to doctors and nurses who we've not met, to children and families who we don't know, with money that we may not have, because we feel this region deserves to have a children's hospital and enhanced child health care. After his talk, there wasn't a dry eye in the audience, including my own, and it was a special moment. So now we're here today to really talk about moving the bar even higher, a collaboration, a new collaboration with Marshall Pediatrics, Hoops Families Children's Hospital, WVU Pediatrics, and WVU Children's Hospital. Thanks for allowing me to participate in this discussion. When Mike Mullins first showed up here, he said, I really think we need to again address the cooperation between our two institutions and make child health care not just for our own region, but for the entire state at a new level. Create win-win synergies that would help the entire state. I said, Mike, we've sort of been stagnant. I don't think you're going to be able to do it. Yada, yada, yada. He reached out to his counterpart, Mr. Wright, and together they've come to this conclusion and this announcement today, where going forward we're going to be aligned and work together to enhance pediatric health care throughout all West Virginia and for all West Virginia children. Thanks. Chuck, I think you're next.
Before I get started, I just want to admire, we've got some nice logos. That looks nice back there. Well, this is fabulous, and it's a real pleasure to be here today to celebrate this announcement of the new collaboration. But to Joe's point, collaborations aren't absolutely new here between our two institutions. As he mentioned, and that was a very nice story about my stepfather, Bill Neal, who actually grew up here, and he was the son of a physician and the grandson of a physician, and both of them practiced in the community here. And Bill, Dr. Neal, grew up and became a pediatric cardiologist at WVU in Morgantown, but he came to Huntington monthly and did a clinic and taught med students here. And this is just an outgrowth of collaborations that started back then. The agreement is indicative of what we can do together. Bill, as the past PEDS chair in Morgantown, also served as the recent chair of the Children's Hospital Collaborative, which has a mission to put our hands together as organizations and advocate for positive change for the kids of the state and grow our clinical care resources, as we are discussing, as efficiently and as collaboratively as possible. So this agreement solidifies a formula for us of making positive change for the kids of the state, and we know what to do. We need to partner as healthcare entities. We need to put the kids first. We need to nurture them to be healthy, resilient, productive adults. It's not difficult. It's an easy formula. So while our institutions may compete on the athletic field, there are half of us here who know the solution to the game day chant of "We are," and the other half knows how it ends. Let's go. Absolutely. I think we can all agree. We all know what the best John Denver song is. Country Roads, of course. So with this collaborative agreement, this is a fun time. It's really enjoyable to be here. This is a purpose-driven mission to align and join together. This is really positive, and I'm very excited. I look forward to great things. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I think I might be a little bit shorter. It's a beautiful day for an exciting announcement. We're all so happy to be here. In preparing for these remarks, I did a little bit of reading about the Children's Miracle Network, and one thing that really caught my eye was the fact that one of the founding principles of the Children's Miracle Network was to keep local dollars in the local area to take care of hospitals and children in that area. So I thought, wow, that is really cool, and that really dovetails with what we're doing here today in our collaboration between Hoops, Marshall, WVU. Our goal, our mission at Marshall Pediatrics is to meet the healthcare needs of children through, we have like several avenues, research, education, innovative healthcare, and advocacy. So being able to do all those things on the local level in our area lines us right up with what Children's Miracle Network wants to do. Marshall University, Joan C. Edwards School of Medicine, and Marshall Health, along with Hoops Family Children's Hospital and Cabell Huntington Hospital, have for a long time been very diligent about establishing excellent pediatric care in this area. A big part of that has been expanding pediatric specialty care, because if you have your general pediatrician here that you really like, but you don't have a cardiologist, then you're going to have to go somewhere else to see the cardiologist. Same way with all the subspecialties. To have a comprehensive children's hospital, you need your subspecialties. We recently have been fortunate to add several subspecialists in collaboration between Hoops and Marshall, including subspecialists in pediatric hospital medicine, pediatric emergency medicine, pediatric surgery, pediatric nephrology, and pediatric developmental behavior. This is so significant for our patients, as are the subspecialists that we expand and hire more. For instance, along those lines, we've added to our neonatologist, our pediatric endocrinologist, and our pediatric ID specialist. So having these subspecialists here, once again, allows us to fulfill the mission of providing care for the children of our region close to home. With the development of 2 pediatric fellowships here at Marshall, both pediatric hospital medicine and neonatology, along with working with WVU under the umbrella of Children's Miracle Network, I foresee great strides in the future with Hoops expanding its services as a major children's hospital. We're excited, obviously, to be part of Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, a very well-known and well-respected organization having a reputation for focusing on children and providing children the care they need. We're all familiar with that balloon that you see in the stores and you give your money. And now when we go to Walmart or Target and we see that, we know it's coming here to benefit Hoops and the work that Mr. Mullins has been leading here at Hoops Family Children's Hospital. Thank you to Children's Miracle Network and to our colleagues at WVU Medicine Children's. Many of you would be surprised to know in my constant Marshall green that I have heavy roots at WVU. I actually am a graduate of WVU School of Nursing with a bachelor's in nursing from WVU in 1980. And Dr. Mollett and I go way back before we knew each other, because I was a NICU nurse in the early 80s in the NICU and worked under the leadership of his stepdad that he mentioned, Bill Neal, and his mom, Martha Mollett, was a neonatologist there. So, I'd love to see all of us working together for the good of children in the state, and really great to see you. I should mention also that Dr. Mollett has been a mentor to me. I consider him a close colleague. In my new role as interim chair, I've had him on the phone more than once saying, hey, what would you do in this situation? So I've really appreciated his advice and help. We are so honored and so thankful with this new partnership with Children's Miracle Network. We know it means countless more children will be able to receive the care they need right here at home. Thank you.
So good afternoon. My name is Amy Bush, and I have the privilege of serving as the Chief Operating Officer of W Medicine Children's. There's been a lot of sharing today about Dr. Neal, and having had Dr. Neal for a mentor the past couple of years, I can tell you there were 2 things at the top of Dr. Neal's list. One was that we in Morgantown open our new W Medicine Children's Hospital, and right there the close tie was that this partnership begin. And many of you have known Dr. Neal as the chair of pediatrics and pediatric cardiologist, and starting the collaborative, but a lot of folks didn't know he was one of the original founding members of the Children's Miracle Network board. And so when Dr. Neal got sick in December before the holidays, we had a lot of conversations on passing the torch, and one of them was to let him know that through Mike and Albert's help, this was going to happen, and that we were working on it, and he knew that. So couldn't be more proud. I talked to his daughter this morning, who is just so honored that this is coming to be. I'd also like to thank Melanie. Melanie, my colleague here at Hoops, there's never been a time where the conversation with Melanie hasn't been about anything except do what we do for the kids. That's been the center of every discussion. The details didn't matter, just what do we do for the kids, to help the kids. So thank you, Melanie. And as Dr. Mollett shared, today is a day to celebrate our goal of caring for the kids of West Virginia. But we all know it doesn't end there, because we provide hope and healing not just to the kids of West Virginia, but those across the state lines on a daily basis, so that they're getting care, whether it's emergently or not, closest to home. So as nonprofit hospitals, especially children's hospitals, we know that we are dependent on the generosity of our donors. And with bringing the Hoops Family Children's under the W Medicine Children's Miracle Network umbrella, now we can certainly ensure that the local kids, that these dollars help the kids of this area. But more importantly, our goal is actually much bigger than that. Our goal is to grow the whole pie, so that everyone and every family has resources they need wherever they're at any given time. And so that makes this pretty special. On the other side, we've been given a pretty awesome responsibility. We take care of sick kids and their families, but also we've been given a responsibility to teach the next generation. And when you think about our respective universities and you think about the number of lives we'll touch through direct patient care and research and education, it's really pretty amazing. So this is our legacy. This is what we're leaving behind. And with this partnership between W Medicine Children's and Hoops Family Children's Hospital, we will shine even brighter for many, many generations to come. So thank you all for having us, and we look forward to the future.
I guess I can tear this up because everybody's already said everything I was going to say. What happens? Probably we can use some oil with the first check we get. We'll use some oil for that door. It's hard to believe that it's been about almost 10 years when Mr. and Mrs. Hoops and a bunch of kids and grandkids all had shovels and were digging up right here, digging up ground right here for our children's hospital. And about 6 or 7 years ago, I got a call from Dr. Mollett, and he was talking about maybe referring a patient here, and we just started talking back and forth. Never met him before. And he said, you know, I just hate to lose our patients to somewhere else. And those words resonated with me, and they still resonate today. And even though we've already had some collaboration before that, it started to become more and more. During that time, we have shared academic opportunities with each other. I certainly appreciate the fact that when we were short-staffed in our pediatric ICU, Dr. Mollett and his colleagues came and filled in. And it was for the price of a dinner at my house on Wednesday, pretty much, because they really work cheap. They really work cheap. And this has progressed. And here we are today, okay? We were getting there. As Dr. Wertheimer said, for many years we've tried to make this work, but really it's been the work of Mr. Mullins and Mr. Wright who have pushed it over the top. And along with the Children's Miracle Network, we're seeing the culmination of those efforts. But culmination kind of signifies an end. This is not an end, this is a beginning. This is a beginning of the work that we have to do. And we now have an avenue for resources, for people power, to help keep the kids of our state and our surrounding area here for great quality care here at home. So thank you to everybody that's made this happen. And now let's move forward with the challenges ahead. Thank you.
Good afternoon. You know, I got to tell you, this green tie is remarkably more comfortable than I anticipated. That's good. It's good to be here. Good to be here. So excited for today, and I have to, I have to start out bragging on my partner Mike Mullins for a few minutes. You know, Mike came, was it early 2019, Mike? You know, and he's been a great partner to me in many ways. You know, we're like-minded partners. We've had some success in advocacy, with the state on a number of issues. We were good peers during COVID, which was a very challenging time. And Mike's also a man of his word. When we say, hey, we're going to work on something, he and I talk probably 2 or 3 times a month, and I'll share something I'm thinking. And Mike taught me a new word. He always says, I'm tracking with you. I'm tracking with you, Albert. So we're always tracking on different things. So I think you'll see our 2 organizations do other cool partnerships again in the future, But it was sometime in 2019, after Mike was here a little while, I came down to visit him. It was the first time we sat together, and we talked about, 2 or 3 big ideas that we could work on together. And what we're doing today with the partnership between our Children's Hospital and Children's Miracle Network was Mike's idea that he brought up to me that first day. And I said, hey, let me think about that. I think it's good. Let me think about it. I thought about it on the way back to Morgantown that night. And the first person I talked to the next day, and you've heard a common theme through every speaker, first person I talked to was Dr. Bill Neal, right? And I said to Bill, hey, is this a good idea? And he said, Albert, do it, don't even think about it. He said, do it right away, right? So I called Mike back and said, we're gonna start to work on this. Now, a lot happened between now and then, and we've gone through a pandemic and stuff, but Mike and I stayed true to this vision, and I'm very thankful that we're here today. I think this is important on a number of levels, not only the cooperation, and the fundraising and the sharing of many different things that I'll go over in a minute, but I will tell you, taking care of pediatric patients in our state is much harder to do successfully than adult patients. There are plenty of adult patients in the state of West Virginia that are sick and need hospitals and health system care, okay? There's a lot of them. Now, for children though, thank goodness, there are very few children that are born with congenital heart abnormalities, or that have brain tumors, or born in a premature fashion, or in some type of a trauma. So if we're going to have the great physicians and physician subspecialists, many of them are here today on both sides. If we're going to have those folks in West Virginia, and we're going to keep them competent and busy, we have to capture every single child that needs higher levels of care in the state of West Virginia. And we're going to let a few in from Kentucky, and from Ohio, and from Maryland, and Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Does that make sense? And so this partnership helps us do that. This partnership will help us to raise funds and awareness. It will help us to share resources, best practices, care conferences, and even faculty. We heard about some faculty sharing today. We'll work together to recruit the best and brightest physicians, and we will make sure we're taking the absolute best care of children right here in West Virginia. So thank you everyone for being here today.
Well, first of all, thank you to all of our speakers for your message and the common themes, and for being here today. We are all representatives of those who have come before us to create something for healthcare, whether it's from Morgantown or you're from Huntington. And our job is to work together so that we can create something for the next generation. That's why we're doing this, and that's why we're here. So to our donors, to those in attendance today, thank you for your time. We are going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony in just one moment. But as we say thank you to those again, to our elected officials, our donors, our supporters, and to our friends from WVU Medicine, thank you for making the journey down today to be here with us. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Gabby and Eli Parsons. And Eli was a former patient here who was born January 15, 2013. He spent 26 weeks. He was born at 26 weeks and spent 95 days in our NICU. And so now...
Ready? Ready? Go ahead, man.